You would think Donald Trump has rights just like every other citizen, or, you know, rights as any other president as the president, but it's Donald Trump. It doesn't work like that with him.
I think the gag order is totally unconstitutional. Can't even allow articles to be put in. As an example, these are articles that were over the last day and a half. They're very good articles. They say the case is a sham and it shouldn't need to be tried. It shouldn't have been submitted. And I don't even know if you're allowed to put them in. We have a gag order, which to me is totally unconstitutional. I'm not allowed to talk, but people are allowed to talk about me. So they can talk about me, they can say whatever they want, they can lie, but I'm not allowed to say anything. I just have to sit back and look at why a conflicted judge has ordered me to have a gag order. I don't think anybody's ever seen anything like this. I'd love to talk to you people. I'd love to say everything that's on my mind, but I'm restricted because I have a gag order. And I'm not sure that anybody's ever seen anything like this before. And even having to do with articles, somebody writes an article. If I read every one of these articles incomplete, I read some of it and I'll look at headlines, all good headlines, and the case is a sham. But I can't read the whole thing. I'd be reading, this is like reading a novel. So I put an article in and then somebody's name is mentioned somewhere deep in the article and I end up in violation of a gag order. I think it's a disgrace. It's totally unconstitutional. I don't believe it's never, not to this extent, ever happened before. I'm not allowed to defend myself, and yet other people are allowed to say whatever they want about me. Very, very unfair. Having to do with the schools and the closings, that's Biden's fault. And by the way, this trial is all Biden. You know, this is all Biden, just in case anybody has any question. And they're keeping me in a courtroom that's freezing, by the way, in a courtroom all day long. Well, he's out campaigning. That's probably an advantage because he can't campaign. Nobody knows what he's doing. He can't put two sentences together. But he's out campaigning. He's out campaigning, and I'm here in a courtroom, sitting here, sitting up as straight as I can all day long, because you know what? It's a very unfair situation. So we're locked up in a courtroom, and this guy's out there campaigning. If you call it a campaign, every time he opens his mouth, he gets himself into trouble. So that's the story. I have an unconstitutional gag order by a highly conflicted judge.
Yep.
Should recuse himself. Very simple. On the schools, should have never happened. What's going on in this country now should have never happened. But of course, the Ukraine war would have never happened. The Israeli attack would have never happened.
Ooh.
Inflation would have never happened. We have the worst president in the history of our country, and he's the one that has us in all these different lawsuits. Thank you very much.
Oh, man. Typical justice system, right? He'd be a free man right now if he would have sold those classified documents, if he would have smoked, you know, a little crack. This is all just sham trials right here, man. Definitely a violation of the First Amendment. This man is not able to speak while everybody's able to make criticism and speak out loud against him. It's just not a fair fight whatsoever. Obviously hasn't been fair from the beginning, and him realizing, saying that this is all unconstitutional. In addition to that, pointing out the fact that, again, Biden is behind all of this. By saying that he can't even string two sentences together. And honestly, man, even if you're a Democrat, if you're independent, you have to agree. Like, your common sense, won't allow you to lie. Please, honestly, how many times does he have to prove it? Even Biden said, how many times does Trump have to prove that we can't be trusted? We being Joe Biden and the DOJ. Listen.
In a sense, I don't know why we're surprised by Trump. How many times does he have to prove we can't be trusted?
He don't know why they surprised by Trump, but we are definitely surprised by you, my brother. You told the truth? What? Oh my gosh, y'all mark this date down. For real, this is a day in America that is gonna go down in history. He told the truth, and he's pretty much proven it. You can't trust this man, Biden, that is, with the economy. You can't trust him with what's going on with oil independence. You can't trust him with the border. You can't trust him with health care. You can't trust him with the education system. You can't trust him with the safety in our communities, foreign affairs, protecting student, bro. You can't, bro. He's proven that they can't be trusted. And going after Trump just so that he can win this case. This is crazy. You guys are about to witness one of the greatest ads put up by, I want to get his name right. This is Michael Moore. He painted the best picture that I've ever heard in my life about what's happening with Trump. I'll chime in every now and again very briefly as the video goes on, but sit back and enjoy.
Vote for Trump. And they don't necessarily like him that much. And they don't necessarily agree with him. They're not racist and rednecks, they're actually pretty decent people. And so I wanted to sort of, after talking to a number of them, I wanted to write this. And Donald Trump came to the Detroit Economic Club and stood there in front of the Ford Motor executives and said, if you close these factories as you're planning to do in Detroit and build them in Mexico, I'm going to put a 35% tariff on those cars when you send them back, and nobody's going to buy them. It was an amazing thing to see. No politician, Republican or Democrat, had ever said anything like that to these executives. And it was music to the ears of people in Michigan and Ohio and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, the Brexit states. You live here in Ohio, you know what I'm talking about. Whether Trump means it or not is kind of irrelevant because he's saying the things to people who are hurting. And it's why every beaten down, nameless, forgotten working stiff who used to be part of what was called the middle class loves Trump. He is the human Molotov cocktail that they've been waiting for. The human hand grenade that they can legally throw into the system that stole their lives from them. And on November 8th, Election Day, although they've lost their jobs, although they've been foreclosed on by the bank, next came the divorce, and now the wife and kids are gone. The car's been repoed. They haven't had a real vacation in years. They're stuck with the shitty Obamacare bronze plan where you can't even get a fucking Percocet. They've essentially lost everything they had, except one thing. The one thing that doesn't cost them a cent and is guaranteed to them by the American Constitution, the right to vote. They might be penniless, they might be homeless, they might be fucked over and fucked up. It doesn't matter because it's equalized on that day. A millionaire has the same number of votes as the person without a job. One. And there's more of the former middle class than there are in the millionaire class.
Preach,
so
man.
On November 8th, the dispossessed will walk into the voting booth, be handed a ballot, close the curtain, and take that lever, or felt pen or touchscreen, and put a big fucking X in the box by the name of the man who has threatened to upend and overturn the very system that has ruined their lives. Donald J. Trump. They see that the elites who ruined their lives hate Trump. Corporate America hates Trump. Wall Street hates Trump. The career politicians hate Trump. The media hates Trump after they loved him and created him.
Yep.
And now hate him.
And it's not by coincidence.
The enemy of my enemy is who I'm voting for on November 8th. Yes, on November 8th, you, Joe Blow, Steve Blow, Bob Blow, Billy Bob Blow, all the blows get to go and blow up the whole goddamn system because it's your right. Trump's election is going to be the biggest fuck you ever recorded in human history, and it will feel good.
Unfortunately, y'all, I will have to disagree with this guy in this video. It's right at the end when he said that it would feel good. I don't think so, man. I actually think that it will feel amazing. Now, this is one of the greatest accidental Trump ads ever, right? According to this guy, how you say it, Pierce D. Reese sister, he wrote on here, he said that this is an old video. Michael Moore does not support Trump. He was explaining why so-called middle and working class Americans will vote for Trump even if it blows up democracy, which it did. He suggested it definitely didn't. Well, the left, yeah, another story for another day. The speech wasn't an endorsement, it was a warning. Man, you see how this warning actually brought us closer? Look at the comments right below that. I'm gonna read the last one and then I'm gonna read it from the bottom up. Yeah, how dare we put America first? How dare we, right? It don't seem to be put in first place right now, like so many of the activist left's efforts. MM's films was a huge backfire. Definitely did, because that ain't do nothing but convince me to be even more of a Trump supporter. And the left are too clever by half. Woke are brainwashed while real awakening is happening all over America. Donald J. Trump is going to win again. The basket of deplorables is bigger now and more fed up. The basket of deplorables, huh? Yeah, I Hillary Clinton minion. I love reading articles and comments from people who oppose our beliefs, because honestly, man, it's the best way for us to have civil discourse, also to be able to double down, I should say, rather than stand on business, but double down on our positions, also challenging our position to be able to make sure that we stand firm in it as well. You got to be able to prove. But I'm saying all that to say, man, basket of deplorables, yeah, they done getting fuller and fed up. This was something that Hillary Clinton was referring to Trump supporters as, and yeah, man, and we're starting to see nothing but the left's efforts backfire. This gag order that y'all putting on Trump, come on, man, the man is Trump at this point. Honestly, that's his name and an adjective. For real. I genuinely pray that people will realize that we were really better off with Trump, for real, as the president, and the world was safer and more peaceful, despite the left media always trying to paint the picture to be otherwise. All the things that Michael Moore and the rest, MSNs, the CNNs, the MSNBSs, claim what happened under Trump actually are happening under Biden. Nobody want to talk about that. Wake up. We've been lied to. We were a bunch of sheep once before. No more, man.